So we'll start with removing all the packaging materials on the frame. Once all the packaging material is removed, we will install the handlebar first. For that, you will need number 5 Allen key. Use the number 5 Allen key to remove the bolt locking fork. Okay, so once this bolt is removed, you keep it aside. So grab the handlebar from one end, adjust the suspension and insert the handlebar on the fork tube. Install the bolt which will lock the handlebar and the fork to the frame. Once it's done, you don't have to worry about the alignment of the handlebar and the fork. We'll do it later when we are doing the final QC. Once the handlebar is installed, we will install the rear track assembly. So the first step will be to remove this and this bolt out of the snow track. Once both bolts are removed, we will align snow track holes together and we will install the bolts. There will be a situation where the snow track connecting arms will be narrower compared to the assembly itself. For that, you will need two 17mm wrench, and we will try to widen these two nuts. What it will do, they will expand the frame, so we will be able to install the snow track connecting arms to the snow track. Loosen outside nuts, they will allow inside nuts to expand the frame. So as you can see, after expanding these two nuts, the frame is wide enough that it has a clearance that we could insert the snow track. So when you are inserting these bolts to the snow track, you have to make sure there are two sides. So the longer one goes to the non-drive side and the shorter one goes to the drive side of the frame. For that, you need to align them. Once both of these bolts are installed, you need to torque these two bolts, tighten this bolt and nut, same thing with the other side, and you also need to make sure the track shouldn't be touching to the frame on the either side. Just in case if the track is rubbing to the either side of the frame, I would recommend to loosen this or either this side of the bolt. What it will do, it will expand the frame and it will prevent track from rubbing to the frame. Once the rear track is installed, we will move towards the front ski. It's pretty easy to install the front snowboard. First of all, you will remove this big bolt. It will also come out with the spacer. You keep it aside. Then you will remove these M6 bolts from the snowboard connecting arm. Align the fork with this big hole and we will insert the bolt. Once you're inserted halfway to the fork, we will put the spacer between the arms of the snowboard. Okay, so once the bolt is all the way through and sitting on the fork perfectly, we'll put the washer and nut on the other side. Once the washer and nut are installed, we'll install these hooks which will hold the snowboard arms to the front fork. So once they are installed by hand, we will use tools to torque them down. Once the handlebar is locked with the front snowboard, we will connect the electrical cables. They are pretty much straightforward. They are color coded, so you won't be able to miss them. You will leave this cable. Make sure that there are small arrows on each side of the connection. You need to align those arrows and connect them. Once the snowboard assembly is done, we'll move to the chain installation process. For that, first you will need to connect the motor cable. Same thing as the front cables, there are arrows which you need to align and connect. Once it's done, we will get the chain. The master link on the side and another master link on the and you finish the installation of chain. Once the chain is installed, you need to install the pedal and the battery. After that, you just make sure all the bolts are tight and secure, and then you are good to take the bike for a test ride.